first job of the president is to protect America. Our next president must be prepared to lead. I know Jeb. I know his good heart and his strong backbone. Jeb will unite our country. He knows how to bring the world together against terror, and he knows when tough measures must be taken. Experience and judgment count in the Oval Office. Jeb Bush is a leader who will keep our country safe.
In any other presidential election cycle, what candidate wouldn't want a former leader of the free world cutting a television ad, throwing his substantial weight behind that possible ascendant to the throne? Remember the phrasing there, in any other presidential election cycle. Let us then begin to explain. We kick to the final political animal of the week. Hunkered down, waiting for the flak to start falling Tuesday night. We begin with the veteran Republican strategist and Georgetown University professor Bradley Blakeman, countered with the veteran Democratic strategist from Kate Communications, Franco Ripple. Gentlemen, good to see you both again. Let's get right to it. Brad, look, it's the former president of the United States who is his brother. Most people would believe this has got to be a good idea, but so many other people have said that any talk about his brother is what keeps Jeb back in the pack to begin with.
Well, it's a little too late, I think, to have mom and your brother come in because the people of New Hampshire really don't care about that. They care about the person who's running. They want to see them up close and personal. As you can tell by that video, it wasn't his brother coming into the state. It was him being beamed into the state. And I was in charge of W's New Hampshire campaign in 2000. And if you recall, we lost in double digits. And so, I mean, he doesn't hold much weight in New Hampshire, number one. Yeah, we did win in the general, but primaries are a whole different ballgame.
Franco, if we look at this now from either side, Democratic, Republican, makes no difference here. But Jeb Bush certainly has a lot of accomplishments for his political career. We'll talk about Marco Rubio in a moment here. But isn't it fair to say, even with all that, this will go down in history simply, very likely, as just a candidacy that was not managed properly from the beginning, that made a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and simply in no way could catch back up?
Well, I think the former First Lady, Barbara Bush, said it well in New Hampshire that, you know, this doesn't seem to be a cycle that is about experience. She listed off a litany of things about her son, which are probably all true, that he's honest and respectful and disciplined and caring and all the things you want in a president. And frankly, I think a lot of the things that his brother, President George W. Bush, was as well, and his father. This is not a cycle where that counts. And I think Brad's absolutely right. There's a big difference between spending time in the state and then having your brother beamed into the state. But ads like this and bringing his mother to the state only happen for two reasons. One, a campaign that's in his final death throes and the wagons are circling, or it's an opportunity to build on a legacy that does still mean something to the non-Tea Party, non-extremist elements of the Republican Party. And I know it's too soon to tell which one it is yet.
Let's talk about legacy, if we can, for just a moment here. Jeb Bush was asked about his former protege, Marco Rubio, and what he had done in the Senate. And Jeb Bush did not exactly exude confidence in the junior senator from Florida. Here's what he said.
Marco Rubio has been a politician since he was 26 years old, gifted beyond belief. But he's not from the outside. He's been a career politician. There's nothing in his record that would suggest that he could make a tough decision.
Brad, if you look at all the various report stories coming out now regarding the question about Marco Rubio that was put to Rick Santorum, some people say he does not have any significant legislative accomplishments since he entered the Senate 5 years ago. Do you go with that and agree with that? And do you think this will hurt him at all, or is this just another flash in the pan?
No, I think it's a flash in the pan. Let's face it. Come on, let's get real. In the Senate, you're one of 100. There's not much you can do, by the way, when the president has been running the tables on you for the first 2 years of his presidency, and we hadn't had the majority for as long as Rubio has been in the Senate. So, look, it's not, I wouldn't look to his legislative record. I would look to his leadership, his oratory, his ability to work well with others, and the fact that he is a U.S. senator from a battleground state. The Republicans must win. We must win Florida.
That's what we have to do so many times when we have these discussions. There are these things that come and they go, and they last about 8 seconds in the 24/7, 365 media cycle here, and they will all go away. Whether or not that is right or wrong, it does happen. This will likely be one of those as well. All right, Franco, here we come to you. New poll is out. Love talking about the polls. Here's the new one, that Hillary Clinton now trails Bernie Sanders by only 15 points. She started the week trailing by 31 points. Look into your crystal ball, if you will, here for a moment, Franco. Do you think that Hillary Clinton can catch Bernie Sanders?
Well, I'm not sure there's enough time necessarily for her to catch him, but I'm not sure she has to either. If you look at what Marco Rubio did in Iowa, he won Iowa by saying, hey guys, I'm going to come in third place. And then he did, whereas Ted Cruz blew it in Iowa by saying he was going to win. And then he did. Trump blew it by saying he was going to win and then didn't. In Hillary Clinton's case, all she has to do is come close. I've seen some polls this week showing she's as close as 9 points behind. So I think all she has to do is keep it competitive, because what's next? Look ahead to South Carolina, a much more diverse state that's more representative of the entire Democratic primary electorate. She leads by 30 points. I think that's a more representative example of what we'll see.
We focus way too much on one city and one state and one place, don't we, Franco?
A little bit sometimes.
And Bradley, to you as well. I got about 30 seconds left. That comes down to Donald Trump as well. He's got a huge lead. Marco Rubio seems to be making up a couple of points here and there. Don't we have to keep telling ourselves, yes, New Hampshire is important, but it is one state. Then you've got South Carolina, Texas. Everything changes at every single stop. It's about what you get in all these stops.
Well, yes and no. Look, Trump said he was going to win Iowa, and he didn't. And then he said he's going to win New Hampshire. And guess what? He claims he's not in New Hampshire because it's snowing. Really? Why is Trump avoiding New Hampshire and going to other places other than New Hampshire? It tells me he doesn't like what he sees in New Hampshire. And by the way, Hillary doesn't either, because she's so overcome with grief. She's going to Michigan, to Flint, Michigan, and blowing off New Hampshire. What does that tell you? She's going to get caught.
It's a strategic resource allocation, Brad. You would know that.
Come on. There you go. All right. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Franco Ripple, Bradley Blakeman, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week. Next, the bare-chested dictator doesn't like to take second place to a presidential election. He's stirring up a little war in Syria. Next on The Hardline.